अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। आपदामपहत्तारं दातारां सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। Pranamams to Guruji, Sri Sridhar Guruji. We are indeed blessed to have him here among us. He came yesterday evening and tomorrow morning he will be leaving. He came on a very short visit. Courtesy our G.S. Sarmagaru, who took a lot of pains to bring him here. A small brief about Guruji before we start the formal event. His Holiness Sri V.V. Sridhar Guruji is an ardent upasaka of Lord Narasimha. He is the living legend and only the link in the lineage of Chaya Adharva Veda, the last of four Vedas which is less known and a powerful science since ages. He is well versed in Krishna Mohana Vidya. He is a complete master of several intricate upasana methods and agnic rituals culled out from Nrsimha Taityopanishad. His Holiness is blessed with Ashtamaha Siddhis at an early age by the grace of Mother Goddess. Guruji had achieved a rare feat of conducting 101 Mahayagnams for world peace and general good of mankind in Bharat and abroad, and the journey continues. Guruji, being a Grahastha himself, advocates harmony in families and marital life for the overall betterment of the society. Guruji lays emphasis on blessings of the Pitrus to overcome the problems in mundane life. He advocates natural love, filled respect towards our parents as they represent our forefathers, the Pitrus. Sarparadhana, Yantra Pujas, Sahasra Kalashabhisekas are few rituals to name which form the part and parcel of Mahayagnams performed by Guruji to promote peace and harmony on this planet. Nrsimha and Dhanvantari combination enhances the curative forces in the environment and helps in combating several diseases. Sri Guruji's spiritual discourses are versatile, illustrative, exhaustive and appealing. He narrates many Sufi stories, Buddhist tales and episodes connected with Hindu mythology in his discourses, providing great insights into our day-to-day life. Guruji has touched lives of many people around the world, crossing the barriers of race, nationality, caste, creed and religion. The objective remains Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. We are indeed blessed to have Puja Guruji among us. I request Sri our Sarmagaru to bring Guruji to the dais. It is in fact our Sharmaji's initiative that Guruji has graced into the island. He came for the 7th time here into the island and we look forward for his many more visits to come. So Sri Sarmagaru will honor Guruji with a garland. And also a shawl presentation by our Shyam Kumarji and Sharmaji, both. We will briefly listen to our Sarmagaru, who is the who treats our Guruji as his master Guru, and we are indeed associated with Sharmaji. It is a great blessing. I sat with him in many satsangs, many recitations, many gadyams. It is in fact, it is our pleasure that we are associated with him. Like a Kasturi Murugam, wherever he is, he spreads the scent of love, scent of the divinity among us. So I hand over to Sharmagar.
Thank you, Mr. Murali Krishna Garu. He has already explained about our Guruji and what he was doing and what he has been doing now. In fact, my association with him is for the last 15 years. I was treating him as my Guru. Basically, I am feeling very happy in his company. This is my main motto. So whenever I am interacting or whenever I am listening to him, I am feeling very, very satisfied and I feel very happy. That is the reason why I took him as my guru. And I have attended a lot of yajnams which are conducted by him. In fact, he has conducted 102 yajnams, and each yajnam is a mega show, and it requires a lot of logistics, and he was saying that it requires 6 months preparation. So that is the kind of yajnams he does. It goes for about 8 to 9 days, each yajnam. If you see that, it will be like a Kalyanam, and it is very beautiful. If you have an opportunity, anytime, please try to attend at least 1 or 2 yajnams. And also, I have learned a lot of things from him. He is not only guru, philosopher, and brother, guide, everything. And he has mastery over so many practices. He also practices Sufi practices. And he has 3-4 gurus, not one. He learned a lot of things from them. So, now, before we start or before we give the mic to Guruji, I just wanted to recite and make a prayer for the well-being of one and all, and also for this gathering. Om Gananam Tva Ganapati Kumbhavamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamasthavastavamam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anav Srunnanvoti Bisida Sadhanam Om Namo Radhapataye Namo Ganapataye Namaha Pradhamapataye Namaste Hastu Lambodharaya Ekadantaya Vigna Vinasine Suvasutaya Sri Varadamurtaye Namo Namaha Om Namo Ganapataye Mahavira Dashabhuja Madana Kala Vinasena Mrutyam Anahana Damadama Padavada Kalam Sammara Sammara Sarva Graham Churnaya Churnaya Nagan Motaya Motaya Rudra Putra Tribhuvaneswara Sarvato Mukham Umpat Swaha Gnananandamayam Daivam Nirmala Spadika Krutyam Adharam Sarva Vidyanam Sri Haigrivam Upasmahe Udgeta Pranamudgeta Sarva Vageswareswara Sarva Vedamaya Tintya Sarvam Bodhaya Bodhaya Om Vageswaraya Vidmahe Haigrivaya Dhimahe Tanno Asau Prachodayat Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtiye Mahyam Medham Pragnam Prayachya Swaha Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtiye Mahyam Sriyam Pragnam Prayachya Swaha Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtiye Trinetraya Trikalajnaya Sarva Setrugnaya Sarva Apasmara Vitaranaya Dharaya Dharaya Maraya Maraya Basmi Guru Yehi Umpat Swaha Om Dakshinamurtaye Cha Vidmahe Dhyanastaya Dhimahe Tanno Dishav Prachodayat Om Amksham Akasha Bhairavaya Humpat Swaha Om Samksham Sarpa Bhairavaya Humpat Swaha Om Cham Cham Shrim Chaha Kshetrapalaya Namaha Om Him Namah Sivaya Mahabhishana Bhairavaya Apattu Dharanaya Maharakshakaya Cham Humpat Swaha Raktadvala Jatadaram Sisidaram Raktangate Jomayam Haste Sula Kapala Pasadhamaram Lokasya Rakshakaram Nirvanam Sunavahanam Trinayanam Ananda Kolahalam Vande Bhuta Pisachanadam Vatukam Srihi Kshetrasya Balam Om Suvanattvajaya Vidmahe Solahastaya Dhimahe Tanno Bhairava Prachodayat Kali Varshatu Parjanyah Prudhvi Sasyashalini Desho Yam Kshobarahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Bhagavata Santu Nirbhayaha Sajjana Santu Nirbhayaha Sarve Jana Santu Nirbhayaha Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Go Brahmanebhyam Suvamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Ainkara Hrinkara Rahasyukta Srinkara Gudardha Mahavibhudya Onkara Marma Pratibhanibhyam Namo Namaha Sri Guru Padukabhyam Ajnana Nasinaya Vidmahe Jnana Prakashaya Dhimahi Tanno Guru Paduka Prachodayat Om Namo Bhagavate Mahaguruve Charanam Saranam Prapadde Sarva Siktaya Sarva Mayaya Sarva Vidyam Dehi Dehi Sakala Saubhagyam Dehi Dehi Sri Guru Vidya Narayana Swaha. The speech of Guruji, which is happy living through harmony. And he can discuss and he can give speech on any topic, but this is universally good. So he said he will give the speech on this, which is beneficial to one and all, and it is expected to take about 1.5 hours, followed by you can have the blessings of Guruji. Then all of you can please go for the Mahaprasadam. Thank you very much.
So let us listen to Guruji with a lot of attention and devotion. Thank you.
When I want, I will ask. When I want, I will ask. Okay? Thanks a lot to all of you. Yeah, I missed Bahrain for almost 5 years. I couldn't make it. I don't know. In 2011, we tried. 2012, 2013, 2014 was a big dilemma for Sharma, whether to invite this fellow or not. Luckily, Lord's grace, I am there with you today. That's all. Very short trip. Tomorrow morning I am leaving. Hope to be back soon. I told Sharma, if you don't ask me to come for 4 or 5 days, I can always come for 1 or 2 days. Then he said, we can make it once in 6 months. I said, okay. It's up to you. Fine. A little bit I would like to talk about normal life. We will not talk on any paranormality. We are going to talk just on a very normal life. All said and done, life is very, very beautiful. But as human beings, we don't like life being beautiful. We want to complicate it. The whole idea for us is to complicate life, make it problematic, and then keep running for solutions. This is the general human tendency. We cannot accept life the way it comes. Acceptance of life is the closest proximity to nature. If you can accept life the way it comes, that is the best thing that can happen to you, and already you are a Brahmagyani. Nothing more is needed. The Yagyams, the Stotras, the Bhagavad Gita, all that is supposed to make you to accept life as it is. Religion gives hope. That's why all are looking for the religious leaders everywhere, because a guru is such a person, you can go to him and talk anything. You cannot talk certain things with your wife, you cannot talk certain things with your husband, you cannot talk certain things with your parents, you cannot discuss certain things with your friends, but Guru is one person with whom you can be just what you want to be. If you cannot be what you want to be with your Guru, then he is not your Guru. Kick that Guru and search your own Guru. If you cannot be as expressive as you are, if you are going to withhold some information, then he is not your Guru. If you have fear with him, he is not your Guru. So these Gurus come to make you to live this life harmoniously and peacefully. You go to me, you go to some Guru, or you come to me, when you express the problem, it is not that your problem is going to be solved tomorrow or day after tomorrow. You carefully listen to the Guru. When you listen, you will have a message in what he says. That will be very apt for the problem. That should lead you to joy in life. But we cannot live joyously. We don't want to live joyously. I want to create maximum trouble for myself in my life and then keep running for solution. This is the attitude of every human being. First is you have to accept yourself, then only you can accept others. Please remember, you may have limitations, but can you accept yourself for what you are? No. Somewhere it tells, I am not all right. Somebody came to me and said, Guruji, I commit a lot of mistakes. I said, so what? You are not the doer. Lord is the doer. How you can commit mistakes? It's not possible. Because you have got some ego, you say that you have committed mistakes. You cannot do anything. Only the Lord can do everything. If you disown your doership and you become a non-doer while doing normal things and living normal life, as you live normal lives, you are enjoying some normal, simple pleasures in life. That is not very big. But you live that life. In the process of living that life, some mistakes are committed, knowingly, unknowingly, whatever it is. But you are not the doer. Can you bring this frame, this particular thing into your frame of mind? Then you can be very happy. If you are too futuristic, what will happen, Guruji, once I return back from Bahrain to India? Nothing will happen. What has to happen will happen, that's all. Why think about tomorrow? Can you not live the present very happily? Today you are in Bahrain, you are very nice, you are doing your job, you are getting the salary, you have got a private life, you have got enough of privacy. You want to talk to your parents, nowadays webcam, technology, communication, information, everything is available. You can talk to them at any point of time. You don't really miss anybody. Today, technology is available. But you have to live that life very zealously, very happily. When you are in Bahrain, you will be thinking about India. When you are in India, you will think about Bahrain. When you are in Bahrain, you cannot think about anything else other than Bahrain. When you are in India, you can think about India and nothing else. So in that place, you just live. You are a Roman in Rome, that's all. And you live that day the way it has to be lived. Then you will be very happy. But you will be too futuristic. What will happen tomorrow? Let it happen. No, what will happen, let it happen. What is there? Why one must be really bothered about future? Anishchaya iti nishchaya, nishchaya iti anishchaya. Certain is uncertain, uncertain is certain. That is the very basis of life. All said and done, life is risky. Whether you like it, you do not like it. Every day it is risk. You go to graveyard, you see the dead body in the coffin, it is in the same place the way it is. And it is very secure because there is no life. In the graveyard there is no life, it is very secure. When you live a normal life, life is always risky. There is no guarantee about life. They call life insurance. It's a very stupid statement. You should call it death insurance. Death can be insured, death can be ensured. Both can take place. Religion gives hope to live this life. God gives you hope. And it's purely His grace that works, nothing else. Piranarul undanil undunar chelvam. Piranarul undanil undunar chelvam. Piranarul undanil undunan jnanam. Piranarul undanil undunan jnanam. Piranarulir perundanmayum undu. Piranarulir perundanmayum undu. Piranarulir perundaivamum aami. Piranarul, Piranarul, Piranarul. What is this? Lord's grace, Lord's grace, Lord's grace. Once Lord's grace is there, everything falls in its place. And for that, one should have immense faith in the Lord. Grace is what is the very word. Grace is what is needed. If you are in Bahrain, it is His grace. If you are back in India, it is His grace. If you are married, it is His grace. If you are not married, it is His grace. If you have children, it is His grace. If you do not have children, it is His grace. If you have money, it is His grace. If you don't have money, it is His grace. Ultimately, everything is His grace, and He only knows the reason for life. You cannot reason out life. Life without reasoning is the best. If you try to reason out life, you will be in trouble. When you reason out life and say that life is like this, Lord will show exactly the opposite direction. Love without reasoning, life without reasoning is the best. Can you love without reasoning? Whether a person is very beautiful or not, can you love? Whether a person is very qualified or not, can you love? Whether a person is giving money or not, can you love? You always connect something with life and love, and you try to reason out life. Reasoning in life is the worst crime that has happened to humanity. Reasoning has spoiled the total peace of humanity. The reasoning what you are giving is not the real reasoning, and the reasoning is known only to Lord. No human being can reason out things. That is where the faith comes. If faith is there, you accept life as it is, and you don't try to reason out. That wholehearted acceptance. I would like to take you into Mahabharata. The war has to be fought between the Pandavas and the Kauravas. The Kauravas want to wage the war, so Duryodhana went to Shakuni. Mama, can you kindly fix me an auspicious date to start the war, so that we will win the war? Shakuni laughed and said, I do not know to see this Panchangam and all. I am not carved for that. You do one thing. You go to Sahadeva. Sahadeva is there. You go to Sahadeva, your brother, and ask him to give a date, and he will give the exact date. Mama, are you having any brains or not? He is our enemy, and I have to go to him and fix the date. How will he give a right date? He may be your enemy, but please remember, he knows tradition, he knows astrology, he knows sampradaya, he will never violate that. While going, take 1,000 elephants, take 1,000 cows, take 1,000 horses, take 1,000 varahan of gold. Go to him. You should not take it free of cost. It's a very big advice which is going to give you. So you should reward him with this once he advises you. So Duryodhana went with all this. Sahadeva was so happy. And now what for you have come? What is it I can do to you? You know we are going to wage a war against you. Can you fix a good date and give us, so that we will win the war? Anna, just wait for 5 minutes. I will do the Kula Devata Puja, then come back, see the almanac and give you the date. Sahadeva went, prayed to the goddess mother, came back, saw the almanac and said, coming Amavasya day, give Bali to your goddess and start the war. You will definitely win. Oh, I am so happy. You have given me such a date. I have brought 1,000 horses, 1,000 elephants, 1,000 cows. 1,000 varahan of gold. Please take it. You give me 1 horse, 1 cow, 1 elephant, 1 varahan of gold. Where will I keep all this? I don't have a place. That is what for I am fighting with you. Once again I will keep in your territory, and once again you will wage another war for that. So you just give me one. You just give me one. Just give me one. That is enough. That I take it as a blessing. That I will take it as a blessing. So he gives 1 gold, 1 varahan of gold, 1 cow, 1 horse, 1 elephant, and he comes back. As he comes out, Duryodhana comes out of the camp of Sahadeva. Lord Krishna is standing outside. Duryodhana looked at Lord Krishna. He just heckled him and he went. Krishna came inside and asked Sahadeva, has Duryodhana come and surrendered? Is he going to give back all your land, all your place, whatever you have asked? Is it that? No, Anna. He came to ask me a good date for waging the war. So you thought about everything and gave him the date accordingly? Yeah, I told him, please give Bali on this Amavasya day and start the war. Krishna got damn wild. I am moving heaven and earth to see that you fellows win the war. Whereas you are just like that, you are giving him an auspicious date and asking him to start the war on that date. What is this kind of nonsense? If you people cannot even observe a little bit of restraint and discipline with your enemies, how do you expect yourself to win the war? Sahadev said, Anna, why I should worry about Sampradaya? Why I should worry about horoscope? Why I should worry about planetary position? Why I should worry about traditions? All that I have to do in a very sincere way, because I know that, and anybody comes to me, I have to say the truth, and I gave him the truth. But when Lord Krishna itself is there with me, what is these auspicious days going to do? Definitely we are going to win the war. The Lord is there with me. What else do I need? Arjuna did not have Mahavishwasam with Lord Krishna. Sahadeva had. Arjuna did not have. He was a doubting Thomas at every point of time in life. He did not have. But Sahadeva had. That is called a Mahavishwasam, total unquestionable faith. If you have total unquestionable faith with the Lord, your life will be very joyous. But you have something called Kundali. I don't call it horoscope. I call it horoscope. I am very scared. It's not horoscope, horoscope. Astrology is a very good subject, but many astrologers are dangerous. To whom you go is very important. A very balanced astrologer knows how to give you a relief. At the same time, he will advise you accordingly. If there are some problems in that, he will himself pray for you. He won't tell you. He will just give you the medicine. He won't say the disease. But we are more futuristic. We want to know what is going to. That is one more very big problem with us. You are into right and wrong, good and bad, perfection and imperfection. You never think that there is a life beyond good and bad, right and wrong, perfection and imperfection. These things, you are simply caught in all these things. You are into bylanes of life. You are not in the middle line. The concept of middle is the policy of life. If you want to be very happy in life, be in the middle, but don't be in the extremes. If you can maintain that balance, you will be very happy in life. Shrona was a very big king. He joined Gautam Buddha. Everybody objected. In the monastery, nobody wanted to have Shrona because he is a king. He will come and give a lot of wealth to the monastery. Naturally, the master will listen to more wealthy people. So Gautam Buddha is going to do that, and all the disciples are going to have problems. So everybody objected. Gautam Buddha said, nothing doing. I am bringing him into this monastic order. He is a monk from today. Shrona became a monk. Once he became a monk, this fellow started standing in the sun for 12 hours. He will not eat food 2 times also. He will eat food hardly once, that too a little bit. He will not sleep during the night time at all. He will be totally awake. Always he will be sitting and doing penance. Anybody comes and talks to him also, he will not mix. He became a very, very strict monk, a monk of a very highest discipline. So somebody went to Gautam Buddha. Arey Buddha, this Shrona has come. He is not eating proper food. He has become very thin. He is standing in the sun. Tomorrow something happens to him, the entire country people will come inside and see that you are gone, we are all gone. So do something. That fellow is now going into very extremes. Call him. Pull him up. Oh, is that so? Call him. I would like to see him. Shrona was called. First time the master has called. So Shrona came with a lot of reverence. He had so much of love for the master. When he saw the master, he started crying and he prostrated the master. He loved Gautam Buddha so much. Master, what is it I can do for you? After all these months of my staying, you have called me now. What is it I can do for you? I am so happy. Shrona, I was told that you play very good sitar. You play very nice sitar. I want to hear one song, because Shrona was a very good player of sitar, though he was a king. He was so immensely happy. Somebody brought a sitar and gave it to Shrona. Shrona wanted to start the note. As he was about to start, Buddha said, just stop. Now you have this grid which carries the string. Kindly loosen it. He loosened it. He loosened it. Loosen it further. Loosen it further. Loosen it further. Now he said, now you play it. Arey master, how can I play it? It is now so loose. The string I cannot strike it. Okay, tighten it. Tighten it. Tighten it. Tighten it. Master, further if I tighten, I play, the string will pull off. So to hear the rhythm of that song and that music, what should it be like? Master, the strings must be neither too tight nor too loose. That is what, Shrona, when you were a king, you were too loose. When you become a monk, you have become too tight. Life is neither too tight nor too loose. It is in the middle. Life is not in the extremes. Every day you have got something, certain things. So yes, puja you are doing very nice. Tomorrow after death we go to God. Suppose he asks what you are doing. Morning Vishnu Sahasranamam Parayanam. After that Lalita Sahasranamam. After that Hanuman Chalisa, after that Brahma Sutras, after that Devi Bhagavatam, evening time, after that I have certain other scriptures I read. All this you are doing? Oh, very nice. You have been doing excellent. I had one movie was released, Hancock, you didn't see it? No, I was doing only all these Parayanams. That movie also I only made. You go down, see that movie and come back. Now he goes back. What were you doing? Morning show, Hancock. In the afternoon, I saw Die Hard. In the evening, it was Titanic. At night, I had seen the Tholovax. Then next day morning, once again 10 Commandments. I had made something called Vishnu Sahasranam. If you didn't read it, please read it and come back. Everything is godly. Have you gone through everything in life or not? You cannot run away. You cannot suddenly become very religious. I have seen some people becoming suddenly very religious. Suddenly. Overnight he has become very religious. Or overnight he becomes otherwise. All such people are just pretending. It is all pretensions. Drama. It's all pretensions. Human beings are always blessed with a quality called pretension. You will pose as though you are that. We have a mask. Every time we keep changing the mask. With husband one mask, with wife one mask, with children one mask, in office one mask. When you go to your relatives one mask, with public one mask, with friends one mask. The real person is never known. The real person is never known. He is just playing games. When I see masked people, I am very happy about it. You know why? They keep me entertained. I am able to spend. I enjoy that humor when they come to me and play a game. It is clearly shown in the face that this person is a masked person. Then I start thinking, like this also we can. They are teaching you something more. They are teaching you something. When you are not your own self, you cannot be happy in life. You must be just yourself. Change happens. But change is more internal and it happens on its own way. A monk went to a shop and asked a vegetable burger. A vegetable burger was given. The monk gave 500 rupees note and asked to change. The shopkeeper laughed and said, it should come from inside. Change is more from the inner, and that cannot be noticed on the face. There is no way to notice. Similarly, lead a simple life. Don't be sarcastic. When you are sarcastic, you may have to face at some other point of time the same sarcasm. The husband and wife were going in the car. A monkey was crossing the road. The husband said to his wife, your relative is crossing the road. The wife said, don't I know my mother-in-law? You have to eat it back. So, sarcasm, once again, it affects you, it comes back to you. And it will harm you. You won't be joyous. Simple things in life if you lead happily. Life is the most easiest to be led. But we have created problems for ourselves. We have created problems for others. We are not joyous. We don't allow anybody to be joyous. And we keep on crying. We keep on saying the same thing. Desires can be there. Greed cannot be there. Desire is the root cause of existence. If desireless, people are saying be desireless, be desireless. If you are desireless, you will be a dead body. You cannot live life. Desire is the root cause of existence, but greed is the root cause of destruction. You have to be so alert when you become greedy. That demarcating line is a very, very thin line. Very thin line. Suddenly desire will get transformed into greed. Suddenly it happens. How it happens, we do not know. But suddenly it will happen. When it happens, we do not know. You will go and get caught in a comfort zone. When I drive the car and go in Hyderabad, I have a very stupid practice. I will tell you what stupidity it is. When I start enjoying the AC in the car, I will stop the car in a parking lot and start walking in the sun. I will discomfort myself, come back and then take my car. Because I don't want to get caught in your comfort zone. You keep some water, put a frog in it, heat the water slowly. The frog will start feeling warm. But as the water boils, the frog cannot jump out. When you keep the water, boiling water, and throw the frog in it, it will immediately jump. This is the comfort zone. When you live normally, as you live, you will start enjoying the comfort. A day comes, you get cemented in the comfort itself, and that itself becomes the grave. That's what happens to many of us. We don't realize. If we are very alert, it will help us to track where we are becoming too comfortable. And you will immediately, alertly come out of those comforts. Because we have a very wrong notion, comforts in life gives happiness in life. No. Totality in life gives you happiness. You must be a total person. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Purnam, 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 Purnam means what? Totality. That is the very concept of life. Totality in every aspect of life. Totality in anything and everything. Incidentally, we are striving for perfection. Imperfection will also be there. Once you say that I am a very perfect person, already you are imperfect. You cannot give certificate about your own self. Can you give? That is what yesterday I was saying. Nowadays, self-appraisal. About your own things you have to write. Blowing your own trumpet. I have done this, I have done this. When I was working, my boss asked me to submit a self-appraisal form. I told him I will not do. He said, why? It's an insult to you. Why? I have to tell you what I have done. You don't know what? It shows total disregard to the leadership. If I have to say and you are going to say, then it means that I have to remind you about myself, and then after my giving you a reminder, you will think about it and give a grade. That itself shows that you are an incapable leader or boss. So I cannot apprise about myself. I don't need promotions. Any day I am going to leave the organization. If this is going to be an opportunity, I would like to utilize it. If I am going to write and say to my boss, this is all what I have done, then what he was doing, he doesn't know what I have done. That is something very stupid. Anyhow, I can't debate on that. Management people say so many things about it. I do not know anything. Today, anybody, any kid you ask, even a small kid, Guruji, I am stressed. This is one word. Stress. See, suppose you are holding a glass of water. When you hold a glass of water, for 2 minutes you can hold. For 5 minutes you can hold. When you hold for half an hour, the right hand totally aches. If you hold for 2 hours, the entire left side aches. If you hold it for 6 hours, this is paralyzed. Please remember, the content of the water has not changed. The quality of the water has not changed. But carrying it on and on and on for a very long period of time is the result of your stress. If you can take something and keep it down then and there and then pick it up, you won't have stress. You have been holding on to something for a very long period of time. That is why it is stress. You just think about it. Today the life is so dynamic. Then somebody was telling me, no, my son is not reading, my son is not doing anything, my son is just like this. Somebody in Hyderabad. I said, leave him alone, don't go near him. He has got his own life. No, Guruji, this is the 4th year engineering, he has to do well, no. Why are you thrusting all your aspirations on your kids? Why do you want your kid? Then the next, he is after all my kid, will I not think for his welfare? If you really think for his welfare, support him and be with him, try to find out what he wants and put him on to that, he will be motivated. But your mind is full of engineering and you want your son also to do only engineering and nothing else. All your aspirations you are throwing it on your kids and you want them to perform because you have not performed. That is the truth. Very unfortunate. How selfish, how crooked our behavior is. How will you be very happy in life? Because we have got a set of agenda. Your intellectual arrogance makes you to act in such treacherous ways, even with your own kin and kith. It is nothing else but intellectual arrogance. If you are a very intelligent person, you will try to spot his needs, stand by him, support him totally, and you can see the beautiful rainbow of life. Everybody need not become engineers and everybody need not become chartered accountants and doctors. Somebody can be a painter, somebody can be a singer, somebody can be a carpenter, somebody can be an artist. What is wrong? These are not fields. For you, these are not fields. Life is not mechanical, life is organical. The more you start going into systems and procedures and insisting on it has to be this way, this way, this way, you become more mechanical. You are no longer organical. Life is organic. Life is not mechanical. Definitely life is not mechanical. Nowadays you see boys have gone into this IT field. I really pity these boys, girls. Everything programmed instructions, tap, 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 tap. Anything menu, tap, everything comes. He comes back home and he thinks at home also everything is programmed. He wants everything the way it is designed in the computer system. He is looking for perfection. How is it possible? That is a mechanical setup, this is an organical setup. You cannot bring mechanical setup into an organical setup. You have got thoughts, you have got feelings, you have got emotions. How will you live? We are trying to match two opposite poles together. It's not possible. We should understand the limitation of the system. Yes, the computer is very useful in its own way. Yes, it is very useful. Okay, that is over. Now one more stupidity. Work from home. Work from home. Hare, home is a place where it is more homely. You have to spend your time with your wife, husband, kids, parents. I went to see somebody in Hyderabad. I said, is he there? She said, just wait, Guruji, 2 minutes. I thought, okay, probably he's inside or something. After about 5 minutes, he came. Suddenly a room opened and he came out. Coat, suit, tie, everything with shoe. I asked him, what is this avatar at home? What avataram it is? No, Guruji, urgently I am on a call. I am talking to my boss who is in Los Angeles. So, webcam, he has to see me like this. I said, okay, you relax, you continue, I will come later. Because I think for personal things, I have to meet him only in the office, not at home. Because if work from home is there, then home from office should also be there. That will be a very nice thing. So I can go to office, see him. We don't know. This is all something very new to me, or probably I am a misfit in today's world. Maybe. But I am very joyous. I am very happy. I enjoy every moment of life. I don't plan anything. I have no agenda. I just live today. I am very happy. Today I have come to Bahrain. I spend my time with you. That is all very nice. I have seen so many people. You give me some food. I eat the food. It is all very good. Bye. Bolke chala jata. That's all. I am not bothered about anything else. I go to my place. I pray. That's all. I live that day. That's all. Tomorrow, no. Certainly we don't know. Nobody can guarantee tomorrow. You either live in the past or you live in the future. You never live the present. Present, why it is called present, you know? It is present because it's a gift. You must be gifted to understand the present. No doubt it is present, but don't worry about it. You have to live that life. When you live life day by day, moment by moment, you will be very, very joyous. Very, very joyous. Don't think too much about future. Don't think too much about future. Everybody was saying 21st of December 2012, all doomsday. Everything is going inside. Guruji, what are your plans? What are my plans? When everything is going inside, I have to also go inside. What else? I am not Lord Krishna to do all that. At least as of date, I do not know the technology. Today I don't have that. No, Mayans calendar has already said that. Probably Mayans do not know mathematics beyond 2012. It can be, no? Or Mayans thought that beyond 2012 there is no necessity because they are not going to be there. It can be anything. Setting aside all those stupidities, life carries on. Life is expansive. Whether you like it or not, life keeps expanding at every point of time, and change is the word. Everything changes. You will yourself change. I have changed a lot. What I was, I am not. Somebody told, you are not consistent. I said, yes, I will not be consistent. If I am consistent, there will be no growth. What is it I have learned? Every day of learning, every moment of learning will bring a change in me, and I cannot be a person with consistency. A person with consistency doesn't progress. That is the truth. So you learn every day in life. Every day, every moment you learn in life. That brings about a qualitative change inside you. And you change. Depending on the experience, you change. That's what actually happens with everybody. Is it not? And today communication has gone so far. Everything people are communicating through SMS. Tick, 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 tick. I don't know, the kids, how fast. I wonder at these things because I cannot do it. I am doing time. Instead of A, I am pressing B, C, something else. It's not coming. But the kids are so fast. You know the way they do it. So fast. They play games and all. I observe them. Terrific, Lord, something beautiful. It is so nice to see. What I cannot do, when they do, it is so nice. It's so beautiful to see. Facebook. Nowadays Facebook is there. I am also there on the Facebook. When everybody is there, why I should not be there? Is it not? Because that is a nice medium for me to ventilate whatever I feel like. And there are people they also give their comments. The people can't see me, at least they will come in the private chat. Guruji, my left ear is some problem, my right ear is some problem, headache I have got today. Today morning my husband shouted at me. It's all. There is nobody to ventilate. I tell them, don't worry, your husband will be all right. Tomorrow morning he won't shout. Like that, some gambling I'll take. Thank you, Guruji, he has not shouted today. Lucky, Appa, Lala. Then her stupidity, she writes, your prayers has resulted in that. Then I tell her, you kindly don't go beyond this because I don't know about next day morning. What is it? Is not. The servant maid also has a Facebook account. The housewife asked the servant maid, why you have not come for 3 days? What, madam, you didn't see my Facebook account? I have posted my status. I am not available for 3 days. Even sir has seen that and commented with a like. And he has written, will be missing you, please come soon. Today Facebook, everything, whether it is the real face of the person or not. So today communication has changed. The way people communicate has changed. The way people talk to you has changed. Everything has undergone a lot of change. It's not the same. Everything is changing and you should also mold yourself and accept that change and carry on to be very joyous in life. You can't keep saying that during our good olden days, I used to walk 8 kilometers to go to school. All this is nothing else but exhibition of your own ego. To the kid, you know how much we used to study those days? Why unnecessarily tell all lies? How much you studied, I know very well. I will be informing your kid. Your father is not telling the truth. Ask his progress card, you will know what it is. So most of the time we inject the kid thinking that he will get motivated. He won't get motivated. He knows very well that you are telling a lie. Very well. It doesn't take much time for the kid. In one place I saw a mother giving food to her kid. She is giving food. She is showing Lakshmi Narasimha Swami's photo and saying, if you don't eat, Narasimha will do this. You see, I don't understand at all. I was wonderstruck. What kind of a knowledge you are giving to the kid? Already you have made that fellow a villain. It looks so odd. See, you may be teaching ethics to your kid, but at the same time take care that you talk properly. What is very important is aesthetics, not even ethics. Ethics keep changing. Aesthetics do not change. Aesthetics should be the ethics of future. That should be the very basis. Whether we can properly guide our kids that way, so that we can live joyously with them and they can live joyously with us. At the same time, there will be a space. Between any two individuals, life is two circles bisecting each other. When it bisects, you have a common area, that is the area they share together. There is an uncommon area which is not shared. Say between husband and wife. There is a common area, there is an uncommon area. The relationship survives by the husband and wife respecting the uncommon area and not the common area. Everybody needs a privacy, whether you like it or not. When something goes up at home, the husband will say, just leave me alone. At that time, don't go and sit on his lap. Don't become his laptop at that time. It won't be all right. So when somebody wants time, let them take their own time. Let them think about things. Let them have that free time. Everybody needs that free space in mind. That is very, very important. Without that, one cannot grow. If one has to be joyous, one should have freedom of space. You must have. Ultimately, freedom is the very concept of life. Ultimately, you want to escape the bondage of life. If you want to escape the bondage of life, you should at least practice some simple freedom in life as you live this life. Some freedom is needed. Some togetherness is also needed. Both is needed. Before marriage, fiancé and fiancée, you have seen some 6 months, 3 months, after betrothal, marriage. After 3 months, then 4 months, 3 months, they will be so close. Yeah. When they go in the scooter, she will be lying like this. When they stand in the bus stand like this, all. After 10 years, marriage is over, 2-3 kids. First I was standing in the bus stop, first I saw the husband coming on the road. Then the 3 kids in the middle, wife at last. Emo engine, all coaches are there, last guard van. That togetherness, that thing is gone. Togetherness in life has got nothing to do with age or anything. You can be always together. You can always enjoy family. You should never miss anything in family life. That is very, very important. Very important. Don't miss anything with husband, with wife. Yeah, at the same time let there be some amount of privacy also. Even though they are husband and wife, you should have some time must be given. Once what happened, one wife took a frying pan and hit the husband. He asked, what for is this? Yesterday I was washing your pant. I saw this. What is this? This is a paper. What is there? What is written on the paper? Lucy 74534623. Hey, you know very well I go to horse betting. I go to horse race. That is the name of the horse on which I have bet. Next day morning, once again she hit. What for is this? Yesterday morning you gave me, now what for is this? Your horse is on the phone. Go and attend it. Sometimes such things do happen in this world. We do not know who is going with whom. Sometimes in the West when I went, somebody was telling me, your children and my children are playing with our children. So the things are changing so fast. Whether you like it or not, in this world certain things are taking place. Immediately all elders are saying this is Kali Yuga, it will be only like this. Okay, sir, Kali Yuga only it will be like this. All this you are saying, correct? In Treta Yuga, what happened? What was the problem? Ramachandra Murthy, what was the problem? Same issue. Ravana took away his wife, Sita. In Dwapara Yuga, what happened? It was once again a female aspect. Same thing, gambling. All this. So, these things, those days were happening in selective places. Today it is happening in every house. That's all. Today technology has developed, you are getting to know more information. Today we are realizing, so Kali Yuga was there even in the previous Yugas. You can't keep saying in Rama Yuga it was not there, in Krishna Yuga it was not there. It was always there. Whether you like it or not, it was there. Veda said, Satyam Vada, Dharmam Chara. Already that is a Satya Yugam. Already Satyam is there. Only Satyams are there. Nobody is doing any Asatyam. Then why to say Satyam Vada? So even in Satya Yuga there was some problem on Satyam, that is why that statement was made. Otherwise it wouldn't have been made. Vedas were never superfluous. Whether you agree with it or not, it was not superfluous. Ultimately it wanted to convey something to the humanity so that the humanity can enjoy and live joyously the life. Today's life is more important, present is important, this day is important, this moment is important, future is unknown, future is uncertain, future we do not know. We should know to love the unknown future. For that you need to be a lot of very courageous. You must be a very courageous person. You must be a very brave person. You must be a very bold person to love an unknown future. But we fear. If fear and love are opposites, whether you like it, you don't like it. If you fear, you cannot love. If you love, you cannot fear. Love and hatred are not opposites. Love and fear are opposites. If you fear, you cannot love. If you fear, can you love? Is it possible? You fear a person, can you love that person? No. You will wait for an opportunity for that fear to dissipate so that you can seek revenge on that person. Definitely. One more problem which is coming to you is ego. When you are full with ego, ego is simply a projection. It's just a projection. In fact, the person will be fearing at every point of time. He doesn't want others to know that fear, so he projects as though he is a courageous person. That is the ego. You are not yourself. You are egoistic. You are simply projecting yourself. You are masked. That projection will not help you at all. It will not help you to realize life. You have to be non-egoistic. You must be very simple. You must be very calm. I will tell you a very nice story in Gautam Buddha's life. When Gautam Buddha was sitting in an audition, he was answering people. From one corner, one gentleman got up and said, Mr. Buddha, I am a Vedic Pandit. My name is Maulingapata. I have some doubts. Can you please clarify to me? Buddha smiled and said, I will tell you something. You stay with me for 2 years. After that, we will see about that doubt. There was another disciple called Sariputta. Sariputta told Maulingapata, hey, don't accept my master's condition. Even I am a Vedic Pandit. I came long back. My master said, wait for 2 years here. I waited for 2 years. After that, I totally forgot my doubt itself, because my love for the master was so much, he simply brainwashed me. And I have forgotten all that knowledge. I simply got immersed. My master is a very, very intelligent guy. He knows how to cover people. So please do not take this risk. You insist that this question has to be answered by him now. Maulinga Bhatta said, no, I am a dharmic. When a master lays a condition, as a disciple, I am supposed to follow it. I would like to follow the discipline. Maulinga Bhatta stayed in the monastery for 2 years. Then Gautam Buddha one day smiled at Maulinga Bhatta and asked, Maulinga Bhatta, today is 2 years you are completing. You had some doubt, no? 2 years back when you came to me. What is that doubt? I have totally forgotten, Master. I started attending your lectures and all my knowledge is totally replaced. Now I have no doubt about life. I have no doubt about anything. I just want to remain in this monastery with you and be a follower of you till the last. I am wonderstruck. I wonder at you, my master. You wonder at masters. That is why masters came mainly to keep you very joyous in life. They just told you certain things to follow. Once you follow that, please remember 100%, 200%, 1000%, you will be very joyous in life. Because a master has got no agenda in mind other than delivering what is truth. Nothing else. He is not going to gain anything out of anything. His aim is Loka Kalyanam. Whoever the master is. Every master has got his own style. Every master has got his own way of delivery. Deliverance will be different. Everything will be different. So a master is very supreme. When you follow a master, you will be very joyous in life. There are various things in life where you can be really joyous. Every moment you can enjoy. No moment you can miss in life. Every moment conveys inside meaning only to you. It conveys only to you and not to anybody else. It conveys thoroughly something, some sort of a meaning. I will tell you another story about Edmund Burke. Edmund Burke was a very big theologian, but he never went to church. He will not go to the Sunday Mass and all. But the father of the church, Father Larry, was very close to Edmund Burke. So one day he said, Burke, you are not coming to church at all. The king is coming, queen is coming, everybody is coming. But I don't feel like, when my own friend is not coming for my sermons, I feel otherwise. Edmund Burke said, say, if I come to church, it will be a problem for you. That is why I am not coming. I am trying to avoid a very big problem for you. No problem, you please come. So that day, Sunday, he said he is coming. So Larry's sermon was such a beautiful sermon, because instead of convincing 1,000 donkeys, it is better to convince one horse. So Edmund Burke was a horse. So one horse, if he can convince, he would have really achieved some mission in his life. So Edmund Burke has come. He was sitting, Larry gave a beautiful sermon for 2 hours. For 2 hours he gave a sermon. After the sermon, question hour starts. Normally they will say, any questions, any doubt you can ask. Edmund Burke lifted his hand. Father Larry, I have a doubt. Yes, what is your doubt? You said good people, virtuous people, hard-working people. Can I have a towel? Good people, virtuous people, hard-working people go to heaven. And hard-working and God-loving people go to heaven. Bad people, people with vices, lazy people who don't believe in God go to hell. I have a doubt on this. Can I ask? No problem. Ask me. What is there? I am here to reply you. Okay. Good people, virtuous people, hard-working people, not believing in God. Bad people, people full of vices, lazy people, believing in God. Now where they go? Now this is a very big problem. This fellow exactly has done what he told. He said you will have some trouble. If good people, God-loving people will go to heaven. If bad people, not believing in God, will go to hell. That's a different story. If good people, hard-working people, not believing in God, if they are going to heaven, then there is no necessity of God. If bad people, full of vices, not believing in God, are going to heaven, it's better we do bad things and go to heaven. Now how to reply this? This is a very tricky question. He said, you give me 1 week time. In the next Sunday Mass, I will reply your question. What? That 1 week he was going on seeing everything, Old Testament, New Testament, David, Goliath's law, Bible, nowhere there is an answer. He is not able to find any answer. Now what to do? That day he was totally tired. He has come to church. 10 o'clock is the Mass. 8 o'clock he slept. He had a dream. In the dream, Father Larry was going in a train. The train stopped in a station. The station was totally dusty. The station was nasty. Nobody has maintained the station at all. When he got down in the station, he saw a few people. They have not eaten for years together. Their skeletons were known. The entire thing was very shabby. Now he asked one of the person, what is this station's name? That person said, this is called heaven. This is heaven. This is heaven. Hare Guru. Here Jesus, Jehovah, Francis Xavier, Adi Shankara, all these people are there. We have never heard all these names. Okay, from here to go back, any other train is there? Yeah, in the other platform there is a train. It goes to hell. Heaven itself is in this condition. How hell must be? He boarded that train and that train went to hell. As they approached hell, there was beautiful rains. The birds were chirping. Very, very beautiful flowers. Lot of greenery around. He went there. He got down in the station. Lot of people were dancing. They welcomed Larry. Please come, Larry, please come. Then he asked, Lord Jehovah, Christ, Adi Shankara, Francis Xavier, all these people, are they there? Yeah, they were here once upon a time. He got up from the sleep. In the sermon he said, I don't know, I know one thing, I can reply Edmund Burke. Good people, virtuous people, hard-working people, can always transform hell into heaven. That was the reply. Be virtuous, be good. It is always good. Be happy. When you are very good, you will be very joyous. You will be so joyous. Your parameters of goodness may differ. But every day try to do something small in your own way, which is a very noble act. Small things, small things, very small things. Teaching the kids. You can teach some kids free, some tuitions free, or you can do a small work in a workshop. Anything can be done. Do some small good things. I am not asking you to do something very big, very small things. In small things you can find the big world of God. In very, very small things. No doubt, nowadays kids don't need any education at all. Ram was 7 years old and Shyam was 5 years old. These two kids sat with the grandmother and asked a question, how kids are born? Then grandmother what to do? Then she gave a story. See, on the full moon day, from the moon, one small drop of honey dropped on your mother's stomach and you both were born. Ram pulled Shyam, come here. Poor innocent lady. Shall we tell her the truth? Today kids are better informed. They know everything. We think that we are really educating them. No, at best you can qualify them. You cannot educate them. Qualification is different. Education is different. If you are qualified, you will not be joyous. If you are educated, you will be very joyous. There is a lot of difference. Whether you can be an educated person or not. We are all qualified. Everybody is qualified nowadays. Anybody you ask. I saw one boy, he said he is a double doctorate. I have better hair. ये पूरा शाइनिंग पड़ा 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 हाँ पूरा चला गया PhD passed with high difficulty. Yeah, what else? Yes, sir. Some kids are there, they are very well qualified, but they are not able to take a decision on any matter. In decision making, what is very important in life? What is the art of decision making in management? You cannot take a right decision or a wrong decision on a particular day. You can take a honest decision on a particular day. If you take a honest decision, keeping all infrastructure in mind, when you look back after 10 years, you will say that the decision which I took 10 years back was a right decision. If it was a dishonest decision, after 10 years you will say, the decision what I have taken on that date is a wrong decision. In decision making process, you can't say, today I have decided something, it is a right decision. You can't say that. It is not possible. It is not possible. You can at best say, I have taken a honest decision. But nowadays kids are not able to decide. They are not able to decide. Still, Guruji, I don't know whether I am ready for marriage. Something like running race where you have to prepare. Still, I am not sure whether I am ready for marriage. In one case I know, for the past 4 years the boy and the girl are going on talking. I don't know what is there to talk. So much. They are not able to decide. After 4 years he says, I am still not sure whether she is the right girl for me. Right girl, he says. Yeah. All other girls are wrong girls. She is the only right girl. I don't know. People are like that, kids. Go on talking. I don't know what they are talking. They may be talking so many. What they talk, I asked one fellow. He said, no, I wanted to know what are her credit cards outstanding, whether she has taken a housing loan or not, whether she has taken any car loan. These are all impersonal things. Life, marriage is more personal. All personal things you are impersonalizing it, and all impersonal things you are personalizing it. How you will be joyous in life? You should know what is personal and what is impersonal, no? Basically. In the office, the boss is shouting. He is coming home and saying to his mother, Amma, my boss shouted at me like anything. Oh, he is crying. Then his mother is calling me, Guruji, my son's boss shouted. Do something immediately. Son's boss shouted and he cried, and I have to do something immediately. I said, what do you expect me? Do you expect me to go to the boss and fight with him? It is so stupid. An office relationship between a boss and a junior employee is purely an impersonal relationship. In personal relationship, you can have some emotions, feelings, thoughts. In impersonal, where is the question of any personal relationship in office? There is nothing personal about it. It is totally impersonal. But today what is happening? Office is becoming a personal ground and home is becoming an impersonal ground. That's why we are not happy. We are not joyous because we do not know today. Though we have got so much of qualification, though we know so many things, we have got so much of qualification, we are all educated, you have got gold medals, but you do not know which is personal and which is impersonal. You are personalizing impersonal things and you are impersonalizing the personal things. That is why we are not joyous. That's why, the reason. And all said and done, mind is very dangerous. Heart is very beautiful. The language of the heart is different. Language of the mind is different. Language of the mind is very dangerous. One fellow went to a doctor. He had 20 years stomachache. 20 years. Some new doctor has come. The doctor said, I can cure it in 4 days. 20 years I have been suffering, you can cure it in 4 days. I am so happy, doctor. You are so nice. You are Sakshat, that Dhanvantri Narayan, Swayam. Okay. Take this medicine morning once, afternoon once, evening once for 4 days. Your stomach ache is gone. How much should I pay, doctor? 100 rupees. Very nice. Now we are coming out. When you are coming out, can you not keep your mouth shut and come out? Now you return back. Go inside the clinic. Doctor, any precautions? He has already told. If there is a precaution, he will say, there is a precaution. What is it, doctor? When you take this medicine, don't think of a monkey. Whenever he is going near the medicine, he is remembering doctor's instruction and the monkey comes into the mind. It will never get cured. From where you will get cured? Doctor is very clever. Mind is a monkey. It is very easy for me to put certain things into your mind. Very easy. Mind is all that. Mind plays a lot of gimmicks. But heart will always speak the truth. So the language of the mind you can use in the office. But language of the heart at home, no. With our own circle of friends and relatives, our kin and kith, our wife, our husband, whatever it is. It's nothing else but language of the heart. It is not language of the mind. This makes you unhappy in life. You are not joyous in life. Sometimes cunningness. Cunningness is not useful. I will tell you a small story. A crocodile became very old. All the teeth are gone. It cannot go and hunt now. A crow was also there. That crow was also very old. So the crocodile and the crow entered into a joint venture. The crow said, I will go inside the forest and tell the animals that crocodile is dead. So they will come. Once something comes very near, you can catch and eat. I will also have a share. Oh, this is a very good idea. Very nice. Now the crow went inside. It saw a fox. It told the fox, our crocodile is dead. Very good feast. You please come. The fox came very happily. It saw the crocodile from a distance. Fox knows everything. It didn't look like it is dead. It looked like it was alive. Now the fox told the crow, Arey, you don't know? I don't believe. The crocodile is not dead. If the crocodile is dead, it will always wag its tail. Do you know that? Now crocodile heard this and thought, oh, it's like that. It started wagging the tail. The fox ran away. Cunningness doesn't help you to live life comfortably. Cunningness at some point, if you are cunning, there are more cunning people who can spot you. That is the order of the day. That is the beauty of the day. Live life joyously. Sharma ji had given me 90 minutes. I have dedicatedly completed it. Lord's grace, be very, very happy. Don't worry about anything in life. Don't be too futuristic. Sri Lakshmi Nrasimha, Paripurna, Kataksha, Siddhirastu. God bless you all. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Guruji, for the enlightened and interesting speech. In fact, after hearing, I only heard the Titanic movie, and which I have seen. I think I should refer to Google and see the other pictures where it is available. We have come here sparing our valuable time to listen to Guruji, and also I would like to thank Shyam and Murali Krishna Garu for making these arrangements. So now is the time you can each one of you can come and receive the blessings of Guruji. He will sit here and give you some prasadam, and afterwards please go out and have this Mahaprasadam. Then we will conclude. Thank you very much once again.